Hello there, and welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Professor Jacob, and thank you so much for attending this lecture on Pokemon biology. Joining me here very excited today. It's the class. Settle down, class. Settle down, please.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Whoa.
All I said was you bet. I'm being interactive with the class.
I hate it. Don't do that.
All right.
No, sorry. I'm kidding. It's just fun to be mean to you. I'll say it. I'll part the curtain. It's fun to be mean to you, Corbin.
Yeah, we know.
Okay. Anyways, back on track. Joining me here in the classroom today is, of course, my wonderful teaching assistant, Mr. Curtis. Mr. Curtis, if you could please say hello to everybody.
Woo! You bet. Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
You bet too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's a betting man, Professor.
But you see, my bet waited to the proper time. That's the difference.
That is fair. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Respect.
Wow. Okay.
It's just
Respect
God.
the system.
Have you ever noticed how rude Corbin is?
What?
Get him out of here.
So rude.
There are plenty of times where Mr. Curtis will interrupt you too, so he's rude as well.
Never.
I feel like I interrupt Mr. Curtis a lot more frequently than he interrupts me.
I feel like you guys interrupt me the most.
Well, I honestly think you just talk too much in general.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But who is this wonderful, this voice that you're hearing? This the deep, dulcet tones that are coming through your speakers right now. That's right. It is our trainer in training, young Corbin. If you could please officially introduce yourself, Corbin.
That deep voice is the voice of a 10-year-old in class ready to learn about the world of Pokemon so I could get my trainer's license today.
Not today.
Is today the day?
No.
Not today.
Today is not the day, unfortunately. Well, yeah, I mean, or fortunately, because, I would feel so bad if I released you onto the world without having a full knowledge, a full understanding of every single Pokemon out there.
Just Kanto. Let's stop at Kanto.
Well,
don't
tempt
me. Don't tempt me.
Excuse me. We must get to at least the most important Pokemon.
Decidueye?
Well, Decidueye is number 2. But number 1 is, of course, Spinarak, and we cannot stop before we get there. I'm sorry.
Pretty sure number 2 is Ivysaur, and number 1 is Bulbasaur.
Yeah, we covered them.
And we did already cover them. But we're not talking about... Oh, God, there he goes. We're not talking about Ivysaur, Bulbasaur, or Spinarak, or Rowlet, or Decidueye today. No. We are talking about a water and flying type Pokemon today. Does anybody know who that is?
Pelipper.
No, and it's also...
Or as Mr. Curtis said one time, Pelipper.
Pelipper.
Pelipper? Is that what he said? No, what did he say?
He said Pelipper.
I don't think he said Pelipper.
He said Pelipper. Check the record. I don't know if anybody will ever find which lesson it was.
I believe it was it was either Pidgeotto or Pidgeot is where you're right.
Portia,
he said Pelipper wrong.
Hold on. Portia needs to vindicate me. All right,
yes,
Portia.
Hi, Portia is the Porygon that edits these lessons, in case you didn't know.
Right.
Portia, if you could please insert here how Mr. Curtis said Pelipper.
If
so
you can find
it,
or if it's just correct, just put a recording of me saying Pelipper right there.
Yeah, we'll leave that up to your discretion. And I know you have a tendency to cut out certain parts of the lesson that you think are extraneous, but this is very important. I would ask that you don't.
No, Professor. I will not be scrubbing through all of the previous lessons to find Mr. Curtis mispronouncing Pelipper. I don't get paid enough for this.
Anyways, we're not talking
about... Did you mention who Portia was? That Portia was our editor?
I did say that. Yes, I did say that.
Cool.
Yes.
Are you not listening to me when I talk, Corbin?
Nope.
Fair enough. No, we're not talking about Pelipper or Wingull. We are talking about Gyarados.
Hey! All right.
Yeah, Gyarados. Okay. So we all know Gyarados, right? We've all heard of the tales of Gyarados.
I've heard of them, but I have not been acquainted.
And the destruction it leaves in its wake.
Well, I don't know if it's that fierce. Come on now.
So was anybody? Well, let's find out. Has anybody seen a Gyarados?
At a distance.
Good.
Pictures?
That's a good way to see one.
Just previously in this class.
Yes, that is true. Of course, because Mr. Curtis has been through this class 7 times now. This is the 7th time.
7 times.
This is my 7th time. Yes.
Yeah, of course. All right. So I have a Gyarados here now. If you recall, we named our Magikarp Evan.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that loser Evan.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't imagine he amounted to anything.
Again, not the Patreon supporter that supports us, and that's why we named him after the Magikarp. Okay, cool.
Well, that loser evolved, actually.
Oh,
That
what?
loser evolved.
Yes, into a Gyarados.
Oh, hey,
Evan,
yo,
the
whoa,
powerful,
hey.
strong, unstoppable power Gyarados.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, here it is right now.
Wait, we're just gonna bring it out in class? But Gyarados is big. I thought we were gonna go outside.
There it is.
Oh my
Well, hey!
Oh, it just smashed all the Professor.
Oh,
come on.
Evan, you are a big boy. Wow.
He's a big boy, but he's still not worth anything.
You are large and in charge. Oh, Mr. Curtis! Oh!
He's in his pouch. Oh, jeez, I think he remembered.
I mean, you kind of deserve it a
You do
little bit
kinda
for being
deserve
so
it.
mean to it. I mean, you kind of went in more than anybody else did. He is not a loser now. Whoa! Look at that. Look at him go!
I should be more worried about my...
Oh, God. Oh, the cabinets? Oh! Okay, can you put him down? Professor, do something. That's your teaching.
That is,
He's
you
gonna
know,
die.
I should, but it's very funny to hear him yell.
He's gonna get killed.
You know he's not gonna get killed. His skin is solid, like a
Gyarados,
Geodude.
I'm sorry, Evan. I command you to put him down.
No, he hit. Oh, jeez, he just hit Corbin with his tail. That hit him pretty hard. So
Please put it away.
so Corbin, or Mr. Curtis, while you're up there, what observations can you tell me about a Gyarados?
It's blue.
It's very blue. Yeah. no
Anything
kidding.
else?
Wow.
Anything else?
It's not pretty bad.
It's got a big mouth. It's got long whiskers. The blue this time.
If it didn't have these whiskers here, there's no way I could keep myself from being eaten.
Oh,
It's got a
just
really
like
pretty
string.
pattern.
It's just the
More
whiskers
fins.
I'm holding on to.
More fins, more patterns, and big red eyes, and also a blue crown on the front of its face. That's it.
Wow, that's it. And it's just like is big and scary and strong, right? So
I
guys,
think that's about to snap Mr. Curtis's hand
I can't.
off.
be careful who you make fun of in high school, I think is the lesson. All right, Gyarados, go back. Evan,
Stop it! He's just a man.
back into the Pokeball.
Bye, Evan. Thanks for the fun.
I survived.
Mr. Curtis, are you okay?
Wow, I've never heard you scream like that, Mr. Curtis. That was some
I know.
genuine terror,
Oh,
and honestly,
oh.
very amusing, very entertaining.
I can't. Oof, hold on. I just need to patch up my jacket for a second here.
Professor, I speak for every student when I say that your amusement for our disarray and our danger and our possible deaths is no longer acceptable. I will take your license now.
No,
And as a professor.
no, Corbin.
All right,
Corbin,
well,
you can't.
You know how this works.
Ugh.
You have to beat me in a Pokemon battle. So
I
I guess
will wait. I will wait. I will sit down.
I will
will
just
wait.
use the entirety of my Pokemon storage. What Pokemon do you have, Corbin? Out of curiosity.
Hey, Perry. Perry the Psyduck, our school counselor.
Perry took a personal day today. Corbin, you should know that he normally rides with you to school, right?
Oh, you're right. He didn't ride with me on my bike today.
You know what? We'll table this. We'll table this discussion for now. Instead, I think we should move on to reading the Pokedex entries for Gyarados.
Yes.
Yes, I think that is
My
a
backup.
great
I've
idea.
got my backup trench coat on now, and
That's
I
the
got
one that
my
he
notes
wears
out.
when he's walking backwards.
That's right. Yes. I'll have to wear it, forwards for now. But like normally I wear it when I'm backing. That's right.
Sounds cool.
So yeah, that sounds like you're a real cool guy, Mr. Curtis. All right, are we all ready to read these Pokedex entries? I mean, I'll be the one reading them. You'll be listening to them. All right, starting off in the Kanto region, the first entry says, rarely seen in the wild, huge and vicious. It is capable of destroying entire cities in a rage.
Wow, and it almost just ripped off Mr. Curtis's arm.
Yeah.
Almost,
Yeah.
though.
If
so
I hadn't been holding on to the whiskers to keep myself from being swallowed, that would. Who knows where I'd be right now?
I mean, it's
Dead.
It says something for Mr. Curtis's resilience that something that's capable of destroying entire cities couldn't even, take a bite out of him.
Well, I mean, I don't think he was going into a full rage. I think, honestly, this Gyarados could have done a lot more damage, but,
That's true. That is true.
Full rage, Mr. Curtis, you would have been dead.
And honestly, we might have had another Kangaskhan scenario. You think you would have learned your lesson on insulting Pokemon by now, Mr. Curtis?
I had nothing to do with the Kangaskhan episode. I have no idea what you're talking about.
They're still rebuilding parts of Saffron ever since the Kangaskhan incident. You almost lost your arm today. Mr. Curtis, when are you going to learn, huh?
When will you learn that your consequences have actions, Mr. Curtis?
Yes.
No, wait. Flip that around. Sorry, it's been a very long lesson, and we're only a couple minutes in.
Curtis is the consequences of somebody's actions?
Consequences have actions.
I am the consequence of your actions. Got it.
Mr. Curtis, when are you going to learn that actions have consequences as a result of Mr. Curtis? When are you going to learn?
And sometimes you sow what you reap.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But not all the time.
Not all the time. Hey, let's read these Pokedex entries, all right?
Sure.
The next one says, brutally vicious and enormously destructive, known for totally destroying cities in ancient times.
Ooh, back in the olden days, huh?
Back in the old days, yeah.
All right.
We lost a lot of, ancient knowledge and history from Gyarados just coming up and just obliterating cities.
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure.
But, maybe it has a reason for destroying those cities.
Nobody wants to listen to its problems.
Well, I mean, we'll get into it.
Maybe they said some maybe not encouraging things. Nothing that
like you,
nothing that deserves that type of destruction. But I mean, maybe the city could have been a little bit more encouraging and supportive.
Yeah, about it when it was maybe not a Gyarados and instead of Magikarp.
Take a lesson from your own book, Mr. Curtis.
I mean, I'm just gotta say it as truth.
Rip out a page from your own lesson.
Oh
yeah,
this one.
Oh, you didn't need to. Okay,
I mean. That's the professor said, so I gotta rip.
gotta rip. Mr. Curtis, 2023, gotta rip.
Gotta rip.
Gotta rip.
That's right.
All right, the last entry from the Kanto region says, extremely vicious and horribly brutal. Has enough destructive power to totally annihilate even a major city. So, how do you think it's destroying the city? What do you think it's doing to destroy this city?
Honestly, probably just flooding. Mostly, it's probably spitting up a bunch of water and flooding the city.
I can attest that jaw is a real toughie. That jaw right there.
Okay, but it couldn't even bite through you.
I mean,
how's it going to destroy an entire city?
I don't think it was trying. I think if it wanted to bite off Mr. Curtis's arm, it would have done it.
Okay,
right. I think he was just throwing him around like
it's like a
toy.
warning. A warning.
Yeah, it's like a warning.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you talk smack about me again and make fun of me, like you did when I was a little baby Magikarp, then your whole arm is coming off.
Well, I mean, I do have my jackets are reinforced, so
with Spinnerack silk, yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That helps.
All right, let's move on to the Johto region. The first entry says they say that during past wars, Gyarados would appear and leave blazing ruins in its wake. Ooh, blazing.
Blazing ruins, huh? Now, blazing is usually associated with fire.
Oh, very good, Corbin. I'm so proud of you.
That's very demeaning. That's
what a good observation, Corbin.
Oh, okay.
Blazing means fire.
What a good Corbin. Corbin, look here.
Right.
I'll give you a silver star for that one. Not a gold one.
You one of these days, I'm going to turn into something fierce like a Gyarados, and I'm going to come in here and wreck all of you. And you're going to wish you hadn't made fun of me all these years.
Maybe that's what I want to happen. Maybe I want you to finally be the student that puts me in my place, Corbin.
That never happened.
Maybe I see so much of myself in you.
No.
I just don't want you to turn. I just don't want you to follow the same path that I took.
This is getting a little too deep, Professor.
You are me. I am you.
Professor, we may need to take you to the eye doctor. He's nothing like you.
Or hear me out. What if I'm a past version of you, and you hate what I become in the future, so you're mean to me now, so that I'll become something different.
Well, we do know that time travel is a thing. Time travel is absolutely possible.
What if listen, that's a theory I'm throwing out right now. What if I'm you?
Let's not entertain that theory.
Say something that only I, Professor Jacob, would ever say.
Man, that Gardevoir in Unova was a real...
No, that's...
Okay.
So clearly we've already debunked this idea.
Yeah, not possible. Sorry,
possible.
Corbin.
But yes, Corbin, very good job. Blazing does mean fire.
Yes.
Do you want to add anything else to that observation, or?
It's not a fire type Pokemon, so what's the deal?
Good question. Good question. Maybe the Pokedex will answer that. Maybe.
Will it?
Maybe. There's always a chance.
Perhaps.
The next entry says, once it appears, it goes on a rampage. It remains enraged until it demolishes everything around it.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah.
Just look at the state of this classroom.
It's honestly a wreck.
It's been
That's
worse.
right.
It's been worse.
I mean, I still am gonna have to put together new desks.
I told you the Machoker's supposed to do that, Mr. Curtis. I don't like it when you make the desk, because they always have like nails and pieces of splinter just sticking out all over the place. It's horrible.
But they don't know how to do it like I can.
What, badly?
Well, the way you do it sucks. Yeah.
It has to be formatted a very certain way just for this class.
Terribly?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's a beautiful desk.
No. Let the Machokes that work for the school handle the repairs, okay? Sounds good.
Yes, that's why we pay. Okay, we don't pay them, but that's why we
That's why we think about paying them.
That's why we sometimes give them food. All right, the last entry from the Johto region says, it appears whenever there is world conflict, burning down any place it travels through.
Burning? Huh?
Huh? Okay, what's your question exactly?
Burning down any place it travels through.
Well,
How
does
is
burning
it doing
also
that?
mean? Does burning also mean fire, Corbin?
Burning is usually associated with fire. Yes, I'm glad you asked. Now, I don't understand how that makes any sense, since it is a water and flying type.
I don't understand how it's a flying type, to be honest with you.
It flies.
Does it though?
It kind of...
Thank me later.
But there are other Pokemon that quote-unquote fly.
It's more of a flying type than Dodrio.
Because Dodrio doesn't fly? First of all,
Dodrio
Dodrio does fly.
just not well.
Yeah, that does fly.
It just sucks at it, whereas Gyarados can actually fly.
I would say that Magnemite flies.
It floats.
Oh, what's the difference between floating and flying, then?
Levitating doesn't go above like 5 feet.
That's not true. Magnemite can go a lot higher.
All right.
Yeah, Corbin. Check your facts.
Yeah,
No.
check your facts, Corbin.
No. It's based on my feelings, so no.
Okay, well, I can't argue with that. All right, let's move on to the Hoenn region. The first entry says, when Magikarp evolves into Gyarados, its brain cells undergo structural transformation. It is said that this transformation is to blame for this Pokemon's wildly violent nature.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess it's... but I feel as though, and we haven't talked about this, but I feel as though whenever a Pokemon does evolve, its brain is structurally transformed. It has to be, right? Because it becomes a completely different thing, and they have largely different personalities, which I think would be related to changing the brain, right?
Right. I mean, like, I would think that would be, like, the standard, you know?
Yeah, and I think it is. So I feel as though this entry is kind of really stating the obvious, is what I'm trying to get at.
Right, I agree with that.
But it's just such a very drastic change in temperament from the Dumbo that Magikarp was.
He's still going on. Right,
it's such a drastic change that it's so much more advanced that it becomes enraged.
I see. The transformation is too much for its brain to handle.
Right, basically.
Okay. Very good job. Interesting observations from both of you.
Thank you.
The next entry says, once Gyarados goes on a rampage, its ferociously violent blood doesn't calm until it has burned everything down.
Woo!
There are records of this Pokemon's rampages lasting a whole month.
A whole month?
A whole month. Wow.
That's quite a long time to rage out.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's a good t-shirt. Rage out with a little Gyarados spitting fire on it.
Rage out, but like it's a Magikarp, but it's painted blue.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. we can go all day, Corbin.
You got me there. Okay, fine.
I see your point.
I'll allow it.
Very astute point. Wow, save that. Save those great debate skills for later on, Mr. Curtis.
Why?
When we do the quiz?
For no particular reason.
You have a quiz? Oh.
All right, the next entry says, it is an extremely vicious and violent Pokemon. When humans begin to fight, it will appear and burn everything to the ground with intensely hot flames.
Got him.
And the last entry says, it has an extremely aggressive nature. The Hyper Beam it shoots from its mouth totally incinerates all targets.
Oh.
There we go.
So the
All
Hyper
right.
Beam
Hyper
has
Beam.
a burning effect
Yes.
to it.
Yeah, incinerating effect, if you will.
I was not aware of that previously. I'm so sorry.
So yes, Gyarados is kind of well known for Hyper Beam. Although I
Right.
do believe most Pokemon can be taught Hyper Beam.
Right.
But I guess Gyarados just kind of knows it inherently.
It's inherent in its violent nature.
Violent, blood-boiling nature. All right, the next entry comes to us from the Sinnoh region. It says, once it appears, its rage never settles until it has raised the fields and mountains around it.
Woo!
How high does it raise them up, Professor?
Right, like 6 feet, like maybe 7 feet, so that maybe some other, just high enough that some other Magikarp can jump over
I
it.
say exactly 7 feet.
Right.
No higher than 7 feet though.
Right.
No, raised as in like, destroyed or dismantled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Razed. It's kind of spelled like razzed, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced raised. The next entry says, in ancient literature, there is a record of Gyarados that raised a village when violence flared.
Well, that's cool. So it's like it just becomes a really good dad to the whole village when he gets angry.
Oh, I see what you said. Raised. No. Again, once again.
Same raised as
same
before?
raised. Yeah.
Okay,
RAZED.
all right, sorry.
Not RAISED.
Gotcha. I was like, oh, that's really sweet of it to raise an entire village of people.
Yeah. How would this?
You know what it says? It takes a Gyarados to raise a village.
Now that is a t-shirt.
Yeah.
It takes a Gyarados to raise a village. There you go.
Yes, sir.
But I thought it takes a village to raise.
Shut up.
Not what?
Once again, excellent argument. Solid points all around.
I try.
All right, the next one here in the Sinnoh region says, once it begins to rampage, a Gyarados will burn everything down, even in a harsh storm. So rain or shine.
It's coming down.
Because Gyarados, famous for not liking water.
Right.
But yeah, that does it for the Sinnoh region entries. They really like the word raised in Sinnoh for some reason. Unova doesn't have anything. Kalos, once again, also doesn't have anything. Should I just stop mentioning them, that they even exist, until they have
Give them a shout out. No.
Yo, shout out to the Kalos region. You suck.
You have nothing.
We have to call them out on their inadequacies.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, maybe they'll correct it in the future.
I will say this is the largest class size I've ever had, so yeah, I guess my words do have a lot more meaning now.
That's true.
A lot more influence, so maybe this will make its way to the Kalos region. Hey, if any of you virtual students out there live in the Kalos region, maybe you could just, I don't know, hit up, was it Professor Juniper?
Maybe.
No, it's not Juniper. It's Juniper is in the Unova region. You could also talk to her too. Whoever the professor is in the Kalos region, I cannot remember.
It's one of them.
I should really have a list. It's probably a tree thing, huh? Let's just say Professor Shrub.
That's not it.
That's probably not it. Just let him know. Just hit him up and say, hey, write your own Pokedex entries for once. Anyways, let's move on to the Alola region for Gyarados. The first entry says, a tale is told of a town that angered Gyarados. Before the sun rose the next day, flames utterly consumed the town, leaving not a trace behind. Bless you?
That was a cough. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So once again, Alola has come to us with a folk tale that they have decided to put into the scientific journal.
Come on, guys.
Well, they're a very you know, culture, traditions driven society. So, you know.
Right.
Sure, but this is a purely scientific endeavor that we're doing here with this National Pokedex.
Right. We don't need any of that mumbo jumbo.
I'm sure that hokum, that you know, it's cool to hear, but it has its own place, and it's not in the Pokedex. The next entry says there are people who swear that any place Gyarados appears is fated for destruction.
Ooh.
The next entry says.
So does that mean?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Professor.
No, please go on.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'd love to hear your theories.
I was just
love
gonna say,
to hear them.
If you had a Gyarados and you say like you had someone that like, you know, came and disrupt your work environment a lot, and like you took the Gyarados to his house and like just put it outside their house, like that person would be fated to be destroyed.
What?
I mean, there are some people that claim that. Is it true? I don't know. Are you going to take my Gyarados and put it outside Corbin's house?
What?
I
What?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Listen,
Why
I
are
would
you
never.
implying that you're going to kill me with this Gyarados? Why?
Hey,
No,
It didn't-
no, of course not.
Mr.
Never.
Curtis, Corbin's life is already sad enough. I don't think we need to be adding Gyarados destruction into that horrible,
Right.
horrible mix.
That's right.
You've seen his room.
I've never. Yes, I have. There's no. I could never do that to a wonderful paying student of our class.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
That's very nice.
All right. The next entry says it fires hyper beams in all directions, burning the surrounding area to ash. There are some regions where it is called the deity of destruction. And the last entry from the Alola region says the energy from evolution stimulated its brain cells strongly, focusing it to become very ferocious.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry. It says causing it. I said focusing it. It says causing it to become very ferocious.
Causing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I just learned how to read, so I'm really just working through that right now.
Professor, please.
Not as bad as Mr. Curtis, let me tell
That
you.
is true. That is true. Although I am feeling a little bit of that marble mouth disease that he has.
No, it's not marble mouth. If you remember correctly, Professor, it's called sloppy mouth.
That's right, sloppy mouth. Sloppy mouth is the technical term, but marble mouth is a colloquial term that we like to use sometimes.
Right. I like sloppy mouth though.
That's good.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, it's a really bad disease.
Oh wow, it's really kicking in.
No known cure.
please donate to our Patreon so we can
we can get
facilitate.
Curtis.
We can fund research for sloppy mouth.
Please.
Close the floppy mouse one.
Oh, it's getting worse. Oh wow,
man.
we're seeing it happen in
Mr.
real
Curtis,
time.
just drink some water. You'll be okay, I promise.
I got you.
Fix your sloppy mouth. All right, while he does that, let's move on to the.
Feeling better?
I don't know why he has to slurp his drink directly next to the recording device.
He does it every time. He just lets people know that he's hydrating.
All right, so that does it for the Alola region. There's nothing new in Galar or Paldea, but we do have some ancient texts here from the Hisui region that says, I suspect this Pokemon to be the true identity of a dragon written of in ancient texts, which claimed that it raised an entire village with white-hot beams from its maw.
Ooh, its maw. That's cool. So it somehow got these white-hot beams from its mother, and then it used them to raise an entire village?
Right.
M-A-W.
That's how you need a Ma's raise to raise a
No.
village. Okay.
So
What?
maw takes a maw to raise a village.
It takes a maw to raise a Gyarados, which raises a village.
It takes the raise from the Ma to raise a Gyarados to raise a village.
Put that on a t-shirt. No,
Put
maw,
that on a t-shirt.
Maw, as in mouth, M-A-W, or backwards, wham!
Ah! Don't scare me like that.
Sorry. Okay, so yes, that's it from the Hisui region.
Oh gosh, you scared me too.
That was so delayed.
We really got to work on your reaction times there, Mr. Curtis. He did mention that this is that he suspects this to be the true identity of a dragon written of in ancient texts. Just to clear the air, Gyarados is not dragon type. It's not a dragon.
It is not. Okay, all right.
It is clearly a water and flying type. Obviously, because it flies. Therefore, it should be a flying type. I mean, we decide the classification system, right? We could just say that it's a dragon type.
But it's already so obviously a flying and a water type.
Right, but it's not.
You two?
Right, it is flying in water, but it should be dragon.
I'm sorry, Professor. What? Please guide me. Give me your guiding light.
No, it's fine. You seek your own answers there, Mr. Curtis, if you want.
No, please, Professor.
Who am I to say?
I just need to know.
See, that's what I do.
Yeah, that's why he's doing so well in this class.
Doing better every day.
That is true, though. That is true. Your grades have been getting better. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Really, that's it? I expected more theatrics from me saying that I'm proud of you, Corbin.
Woo! All right, finally I get your love and adoration, Professor. Thank you.
You could say I'm like a dad to you.
No, that's okay. I already have one, and I don't know where he is.
And his name is Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime in my house is not my dad.
We also have an entry from the Lentil region. Thank you, Professor Mirror.
Thank you.
Gyarados is extremely aggressive and strong enough to destroy everything in its path. Everything.
Everything.
Everything. The gouges in the rocky cliffs of Mighty Wide River were actually caused by a Gyarados climbing up the waterfall. So if nobody's been to the Lentil region, there's a river there that they call the Mighty Wide River, and it's got big gouges in the rock cliffs.
I heard that.
Yeah, in this Pokedex entry. I'm really glad I could repeat it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so that does it for the regional entries on Gyarados. I also have a couple of unique Pokedex entries. The first one comes to us from Ash's Pokedex. It says, Gyarados. This Pokemon has a vicious temperament, so use extreme caution. Its fangs can crush stones, and its scales are harder than steel.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
Right? No wonder it can destroy cities.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. The last unique entry comes to us from a Rotom Pokedex. Don't know who it belongs to. It's just a Rotom Pokedex. It says Gyarados, the atrocious Pokemon. That's mean. It's a little bit rude.
Atrocious?
A little harsh.
That's a little bit harsh. That is its categorization. Its categorization is the atrocious Pokemon. A water and flying type. Rumors exist of a town that made Gyarados angry. That town was burned to the ground in one night, leaving no trace.
I feel like that this has got to have happened more than just this one town in history, just based off of the amount of entries that are focused around how its destructive power.
True, but I mean, like, that's a notable event, right? Like, that's the kind of thing that, you know, an entire city getting destroyed in one night really would make the history books and make people think that's just the thing that Gyarados do.
See, I was under the impression that it was like a repeated thing, like this has happened multiple times. Well, we know it did in the past because it says that there are ancient ruins that have been, like, you know, destroyed by Gyarados. So we know that it's happened at least once during modern history, and it used to happen in the past.
And it'll happen again.
And it'll happen again.
I promise you anything. It'll happen
It almost happened today, Mr. Curtis, because you made fun of it.
That is true.
You made fun of poor Evan.
It might raise your Spinnerack farm to the ground, Mr. Curtis, if you're not careful.
I did no such thing. Evan is just out of control.
Wow,
Mr. Curtis is a jerk. All right, so that does it for the Pokedex entries on Gyarados. But Gyarados has another form.
Hey!
There is a mega evolution for Gyarados.
No kidding.
No.
And there's some entries from the Alola regions that talks about its mega form.
All right.
So let's read those. First one says, Mega evolution also affects its brain, leaving no other function except its destructive instinct to burn everything to cinders.
Wow.
Ooh.
So it's even more violent than before.
Yeah. And it can't eat, it can't sleep. I'm not even sure it can breathe.
It probably doesn't even poop much.
All it knows is destroy.
That's right.
It knows it must kill. The next entry says, it jets water from the orifices on its sides, streaking above the water surface at supersonic speed.
So
it's
how fast is supersonic?
So faster than the speed of sound.
Yeah, so above Mach 1.
It's catching up with that Pidgeotto.
It
Not
is.
quite.
Maybe.
But it's
I mean,
getting there.
it says above supersonic speed. That could mean anything.
Yeah, right.
True.
It can mean anything except for below supersonic speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Yeah. The next entry says, Mega Evolution places a burden on its body. The stress causes it to become all the more ferocious.
The stress of being so
Stressed.
cool.
Ferocious, I think. So it's like, it is stressful to be as ferocious as it is, right?
Right,
And and all that stress adds up and makes it even more ferocious.
Ferocious, yes.
Ferocious, that's the word.
Oh, sloppy mouth is contagious? Who knew?
It is. Hold on, let me take a drink of water.
Yeah, take a sip of water real
I
quick.
didn't know sloppy mouth is contagious. Mr. Curtis, you must keep your distance from us, please.
I'm sorry, I'll do my best.
Man, it is fun to drink right next to the recording
It is.
device.
I see why he does
I
it
know.
now.
Portia loves it, I'm sure.
So it is ferocious, and that makes it stressed out. I think I mixed ferocious and I don't even know. I think I just made a new word.
Orifice. It's a
Maybe.
ferocious orifice. A ferorifice. Ferorifice.
That's my favorite Pokemon, actually. Did you know?
Ferorifice.
I didn't know.
Ferocious.
I'll write it down. Thank you. I'm gonna get you a beautiful one.
Thank you.
Professor.
Anyways, the next entry says,
Hey, Mr. Curtis, how's that Gyarados drawing coming along right now?
Oh, don't you worry. I got it.
Wow, I can't wait to see it. I bet you virtual students can't wait to see it too.
Yeah.
On Patreon.
yes, and we'll talk more about that later. Let me finish reading these entries.
Sorry.
It zooms out of the water at Mach speeds. Even large ships caught in its path are split cleanly in two.
Oh, that's nice. At least they're clean.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine just, you're on a boat, right? And you're like just driving your boat or whatever. And then out of nowhere, like you hear a sonic boom and a Mega Gyarados is just blasted through your ship.
Just splits the boat in half.
It's just like you're just driving along and you look back behind you and the other half of your boat is just gone.
Yeah.
So it says in the Pokedex entry, it zooms out of the water at Mach speeds.
Yeah.
So that's multiple Machs we're talking about. So it could theoretically go Mach 2, like Pidgeot.
I mean, it certainly
right?
could theoretically go Mach 2.
How many Machs are there that exist? Can it go all of the Machs?
I mean, infinite, I suppose.
Wow.
What am I, a mock scientist?
No.
Are you making a mockery out of me?
Oh! Got him. Oh, no. Oh.
Hit him on the back. I think he's choking a little bit.
Oh,
no,
Mr. Curtis, you okay?
Ow! Oh gosh, I'm done. I'm good.
That was a big strong hit, Corbin.
It was just a laugh.
Okay, just making sure.
Thank you.
All right, so that does it on all of the Pokedex entries for Gyarados, Mega Gyarados included.
Let's
so
go home.
does anybody have any questions about Gyarados?
How do we be so bad?
He's got the Rage Brain.
The Rage Brain, that's
The
right.
Rage
I would
Brain.
like to see, who do you think would win in a fight between a Gyarados and a Primeape?
Oh, just on pure rage.
Pure rage on the land.
Just a rage off?
Rage off. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I do think that Gyarados has the power to beat out a Primeape, just because it has those ranged attacks that Primeape doesn't really have.
Right. Yeah, I could just use Hyper Beam and that Primeape is done.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, excellent question. I think it's time to move on to the testing portion of the lesson.
Woo! Time to take a quiz, getting out my Rotom laptop.
So we're not doing a quiz today. Instead, we're doing a debate. Now, this one I'm a little bit concerned about.
Why?
Well, I mean, it was kind of hard to come up with a debate question for Gyarados. But I have one here. It's a little bit abstract, or conceptual, I guess. I don't know. We'll get to it. But let me quickly go over the rubric for a debate.
Thank you.
So 1 and 2 are the same as they always are. You must include information we learned in class, and you must demonstrate an understanding of the Pokemon's unique attributes and abilities.
Right.
3, you must build your argument around proven facts about the topic Pokemon. And 4, you must respond to at least one of your opponent's arguments with a legitimate counter-argument. I'm not going to outline the whole debate structure again. I think we kind of know it at this point. And if you don't know it, you will know it once we go through it. All right. So,
Okay.
Are you ready for your debate? Well, I guess, so one of you has to decide, so who wants to go first? And who wants to give their opening statement first?
Mr. Curtis, I'll let you decide this time.
Oh, I mean, I would only, being the gentleman that I am, I will only submit to going second to be your response because, a gentleman always lets the inferior ones go first.
Okay, then.
All right. Then, so Corbin, I guess, is going first. Mr. Curtis, would you like to be for the topic or against the topic statement?
Do I get to know what the topic is ahead of time?
Nope.
You know what? I'm feeling very hyped today. I'm going to be for. I'm all for it, whatever it is.
Okay.
I'm against it. I don't want it. Get it out of here.
Okay. So it comes in. Okay. So the topic here is, the topic that you'll be debating is Gyarados loves conflict. That's the side you'll be fighting for, Mr. Curtis. And Corbin, you'll be fighting for the opposite, which is Gyarados hates conflict.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Or just doesn't have any particular strong feelings about conflict.
No, hates conflict.
It doesn't love it.
I mean, it could be ambivalent against conflict.
Really, I've made 2 statements here. One is Gyarados loves conflict. One is Gyarados hates conflict, and those are the 2 points that you can have.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Or unless, fine. You know what? Fine. How about this? I'm wrong, and we could just do Gyarados loves conflict, or it has no strong feelings, or it just doesn't love conflict. Does that work for you, Mr. Curtis?
Whatever you want, Professor. Whatever you want.
Okay, whatever. So go ahead, take your time, come up with your statements, and then we'll get into the debate. All right. Looks like Corbin and Mr. Curtis are both ready to start this debate. So, Corbin.
Hi.
I believe it is your go. So if you will give us your opening statement.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to Curtis for his opening statement.
Sure. Gladly. Everybody, thank you for being here today. I pay to be here, so I don't really have a choice. My mom makes me come to class. It's good to be here, though, however, despite all that. Today, I am arguing the point against it. As the professor brought it out, that Gyarados likes conflict. I am actually going to argue that Gyarados does not like conflict. Hates conflict, whatever, disdains conflict, whatever you want to say. Gyarados does not like conflict.
Not a fan.
Is not a fan of it. That's my argument today. Let me just get this out of the way real quick. Being easily enraged doesn't mean that Gyarados enjoys conflict. Being aggressive does not Being aggressive does not inherently mean that you enjoy conflict. Nowhere in the Pokedex entries does it say that Gyarados enjoys a fight, that it enjoys conflict. You could make the argument that it enjoys destruction, but I would even say that's a stretch because, conflict is actually butting heads with something. It's a fight. It doesn't enjoy a fight. It says in the Pokedex entries that the cell's structural transformation causes it to act aggressively, number one. So it's aggressive against its will. It's just a change going through puberty, and it destructively lashes out, but it is not purposefully seeking the conflict. Also, it states several times in the Pokedex entries that when there is conflict in the world and when there are wars, it basically, that's when it starts to rage. So it is very, very, very heavily implied that when the fighting starts, Gyarados' rage is a reaction to that. It doesn't like doing it. It will cause destruction until the fighting is over, until the city is gone, until the mountains and fields have been razed. Okay, it doesn't enjoy the conflict. I argue that it wants it over, and it wants to stop the fighting altogether.
Mom and Dad, stop fighting.
Basically, yes.
All right, excellent. Is that your entire opening statement, Corbin?
That is the entire.
Well spoken. I will say,
Thank
I do feel as though you got the short end of the stick on this one, but I think you handled it very, very well. Let's move on to Mr. Curtis for your opening statement, and also after you finish that, you may respond to Corbin's opening statement.
All right. Thank you, Professor, and thank you, Corbin, for your stunning input.
Did you forget
on the
my
wants
name?
and needs of Gyarados. Professor Jacob, please. I would never forget you. I have you tattooed in multiple places.
What?
Now let me ask you: have you ever heard the expression, "If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life"? Well, Gyarados does. See, he is always working at destroying and going on rampages, and therefore he must really love what he's doing. Otherwise, why would he keep doing it? You want to know why Gyarados is considered a very aggressive Pokemon? Because once it appears, it goes on a rampage.
I was kind
Okay.
of doesn't believe. It sound like you believe what you just said, Mr. Curtis.
Because I'm sorry. The way I wrote that was really weird. I apologize.
Not a lot. Yeah, I'm so shocked to hear that.
Wow, you wrote something weird?
Why you want to know why, Gyarados is considered a very aggressive Pokemon? Because once it appears, it goes on a rampage. Hyper beams are flying and won't stop till the city is dropped. Boom. So that's my opening statement.
Okay.
And then
it loves what it does.
That's right. It loves what it does.
It's in the business of destruction, and business is booming, literally.
That's right. It loves what it does, and that's why it's always doing it. I mean, come on.
Okay.
All right.
Go on.
He is. He's not easily enraged, as you said before. He is always enraged and combative. So that's the thing. Like, he doesn't get enraged by outside forces. He's always enraged, right? And then I have to say, did the cells cause the rage, or did the cells develop in response to the rage that it already had as a Magikarp in order to feed its want for more rage, like a self-feeding feedback machine? Thank you.
Okay, excellent job there, Mr. Curtis.
Thank you.
So, Corbin, you now have time to respond to Mr. Curtis's opening statement and also to his responses of your opening statement, if you would like.
Sure.
And then after this, you will have your closing statement.
I'll just go ahead and jump to the response section.
Okay, well, that's the section that we're in right now.
Cool.
His response.
I meant to his response.
You sure you don't want to respond to anything in his opening statement?
I mean, it's just, I mean, this kind of goes in line with it, like, a little bit. I'm just gonna say.
Okay, take it away.
First, Mr. Curtis says it is always enraged. Where in the Pokedex entries does it say, quote, "It is always enraged"? It says it has an aggressive nature. It says it will go on a rampage when fighting and conflict occur in humans. It doesn't say it's always enraged. It says, actually, it doesn't calm down until everything's done. So it does have calmness. It likes peace. The times where it's the most calm are when there's silence, when there's no more conflict and no more fighting. It literally says that's when the calm happens. Is that when this entire city, or the rampage ends, when the city and destruction is stopped. The other thing I was going to say was Curtis also mentioned the molecular structure again, and I mean it does say in the Pokedex entries. Let me find it here. I am sifting through. I want to make sure I properly source it. Birch writes that when it evolves into Gyarados, its brain cells undergo a structural transformation. It is said that this transformation is to blame for this Pokemon's wildly violent nature. So Curtis was arguing that, is it kind of like feeding into its already violent nature? It says, without a shred of a doubt in the Pokedex entries, that it causes the violent nature. It is not inherently aggressive. So yeah. Do I have to make a closing statement too right now?
Yes.
Okay. So that just goes back to what I was saying. So that was more of a response to Curtis that it is not always enraged, number one, and number two, it is part of the cellular structural transformation. But still, I still hold to the belief that it is not enjoying conflict, because like I said already, I've said it like 5 times already, it doesn't calm down until all the fighting and conflict and destruction is over. It is doing the destruction as a response to conflict and wars already occurring. And it says that in multiple different Pokedex entries. So yeah, that's my closing statement. I don't really know what else I'll say. I feel like I keep repeating myself. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's always good to end your debate with "I'm sorry."
Yeah, exactly. It sounds a lot of confidence there.
Yeah, it's
You know what?
It goes a long way.
You know, I'm sorry, Corbin.
I'm so
sorry.
I'm sorry for arguing with you. All right, Mr. Curtis, it is time for your closing statement.
Okay, good. Corbin, you have doomed yourself. In your own argument, you have claimed in multiple cases it says it is calm after the conflict. The question is not whether or not it can be calm or not, but it is whether or not it loves the conflict. And I would argue that the reason why it is calm after the conflict is because it got a fix of the conflict it loves, and now it can relax. Thank you. You know what the true sign of love is? That is to actively search for the one that you love. And as it was said way back in the Kanto entries, it appears wherever there is world conflict, burning down any place it travels through. Gyarados actively seeks out and adds to the conflict that is already happening in the world. What truer love can be seen than that? I'm sorry.
Who is this person that's replaced
Who is
Mr.
this
Curtis?
man?
I'm sorry.
It's like his eyes rolled back in his head too. It was creepy.
I know. He started twitching a little bit. It was weird.
I had to channel my inner kid Gyarados.
Channel his inner Channer.
Oh, there's that sloppy mouth. Get some water.
Okay. Is that the end of your closing statement there, Mr. Curtis?
Yes.
All right. Excellent job. You both did very, very well. You guys got 100s. I think you definitely, understood a lot about Gyarados. And honestly, we may never know if Gyarados seeks out conflict solely to end it, or if it seeks it out because it just wants to get a part of that action.
I mean, I just told you the answer. So
Mr. Curtis told it, and that's the thing about these debates. I don't decide who the winner is. That's up for the students at home to decide and write in who they think won the debate.
Please, yes.
But very good job, both of you. 100s all around. All right, so that does it for our lesson on Gyarados. Does anybody know who we will be talking about next week?
Give me a hint. What type?
It's the Decidueye. I already know.
Okay, you got the Decidueye in there. It's not Decidueye. Again, we will definitely be talking about Rowlet before we talk about Decidueye, so maybe you should be saying Rowlet every week.
But I can't remember if we've already done Rowlet or not. I've already seen it so many times.
Ooh. Is it Totodile?
Nope. We're still in the Kanto region, as we discussed earlier.
Oh.
Totodile is from the Johto region.
Right.
It is another water-type Pokemon. It's water and ice.
Vaporeon.
Arctovish. We already talked about this. Arctovish is the best one.
It is it's not our Arctovish, but we did mention this Pokemon in that same instructional video.
Lapras.
Yes. I say Lapras.
Lapras.
But I can understand why you might say Lapras.
Gyarados with a shell. Yes, I see.
Well, I think we'll find next week when we see a Lapras that they are very different. But that's next week. So for you students at home, if you are interested in finding ways to contact us, well, look no further than our description. It has our Gmail, it has our Twitter, and it has our Patreon. So you can find...
Oh, and our Discord, too. Don't forget about that.
And our Discord, yes, of course. I always forget about it. You see, I'm not tech savvy. I don't understand all these newfangled things that they have.
You're such an old man.
The Learning Center has me using. But yeah, they are all WWO Pokemon, so we made it easy for you to find us. So also, if you liked this lesson, you can give us a rating on Flapple Podcast or Spotify. It's spelled like Apple Podcast and Spotify. But, really the best way to spread knowledge is through word of mouth. So if you have a friend that you think would very much like to learn about the biology of Pokemon, please let them know. Let them know, and we would love to get them enrolled. But that's going to do it for today's lesson. So until next time, class is dismissed.
Welcome to the World of Pokemon as part of the Pokecasters Network.